The courtroom lights dimmed, cameras clicked, and in a single breathless moment, Kandi Burruss changed everything. What started as a quiet testimony exploded into gasps, whispers, and flashing lights. Because what she revealed about Tiny Harris's family wasn't just shocking, it was unforgivable. "This," Kandi said, her voice steady but cold, "is the truth they never wanted out." The room fell silent. Even the judge leaned forward because everyone knew when Kandi speaks, she brings receipts, hidden recordings, private messages, stories buried for years. All of it laid bare in court like raw, bleeding wounds. Friendships shattered, loyalties burned, reputations ruined. And as Tiny sat there, eyes wide and unblinking, it became painfully clear. This wasn't just betrayal. This was personal. But the real question wasn't what Kandi revealed. It was why she revealed it. Was it justice or revenge? Because once these secrets hit the internet, nothing, not fame, not family, not forgiveness, would ever be the same again. The atmosphere in the courtroom was thick enough to taste. Cameras lined the walls, reporters whispered into phones, and every eye followed Kandi as she walked in. Her expression was unreadable, her eyes sharp, cold, holding the quiet confidence of someone who had already decided to burn everything down. Every head turned. Tiny shifted in her seat, her hands clenched until her nails dug into her palms. She wasn't ready. No one was. Kandi took the stand like a storm dressed in silk. She paused, surveying the room, the judge, Tiny, the rows of reporters eager for the next headline. Then, finally, she spoke. "Your Honor," she said, voice steady, controlled. "I was asked to share something today that I've kept to myself for a very long time. It's about the Harris family." The words hung in the air like smoke. Pens froze mid-stroke. Cameras clicked like gunfire. Tiny's lawyer shot up, voice tight, trying to mask panic. "Your Honor, this is a personal matter, irrelevant to the case." Kandi didn't wait. She reached into her bag and placed a small flash drive on the evidence table. "This," she said, "is proof." The judge hesitated, then nodded. The clerk inserted the drive. The speakers crackled, and a familiar, deliberate voice emerged. It was Tiny's husband, Clifford T. Harris, speaking to someone in a tone halfway between a whisper and a command. "They don't need to know everything," he said. "Not yet. We handle it quietly." Another voice, female this time, responded. And it wasn't Tiny's. "You really think Kandi's going to keep her mouth shut?" T paused. "She will. She's got just as much to lose as I do." The courtroom exploded. Reporters leaned forward. Cameras clicked like machine guns. Tiny's body stiffened. Her eyes darted toward T, who sat motionless, his expression blank, like a man holding himself together with invisible thread. Kandi didn't look at him. She didn't have to. Tiny's own expression said everything. Shock, betrayal, disbelief. The judge slammed his gavel, calling for order, but it was already too late. The truth, at least part of it, was out, hanging in the air like smoke. Kandi spoke again, quiet but sharp enough to cut through steel. "I didn't want to do this," she said, "but I've been protecting people who would never protect me. I'm done staying quiet." Outside the courtroom, social media ignited. Headlines spread in seconds. Clips of Kandi's testimony leaked almost instantly. Tiny breaking down. Kandi staring ahead, calm, already anticipating the fallout. Comment sections became war zones. Some called Kandi brave, others called her a traitor. Everyone agreed this was bigger than anyone expected. Inside, Tiny couldn't move. Every word replayed in her head. Every sound cut deeper. She remembered late-night arguments, quiet doubts, the heavy feeling of being half-loved, half-lied to. She had believed loyalty would protect her, that Kandi would never cross this line. And now, her oldest friend had turned pain into evidence. When recess was called, Tiny rose slowly, carrying the invisible weight of the world. T didn't look at her. He whispered to his lawyer, then walked out. Cameras swarmed, questions shouted into the hallway. Silence. His silence spoke volumes. Kandi exited moments later, surrounded by her team. Reporters swarmed, microphones pressing. Kandi, was this revenge? Why now? Her voice was low, almost tired. Sometimes the truth doesn't wait for the right moment, she said. It shows up when there's nowhere left to hide. Tiny watched from the courtroom, hands trembling against the bench. Her world, once private, once controlled, had been torn open for millions to inspect. Faces blurred, voices faded. The only thing she could hear was the recording, her husband's voice, mentioning Kandi. Somewhere in the room, someone whispered, "There's more." A reporter held up a phone. Another tape. Tiny's pulse hammered. Another tape? What did it mean? What else was out there? She had spent years fighting rumors, shutting down stories, defending her family's name. But now, the line between truth and lies had blurred. Both were ugly, both unstoppable. And Kandi, calm, composed, unflinching, was no longer the friend who protected her secrets. She was now the woman holding the world's attention, one flash drive at a time. The courtroom doors closed again, but the story had already exploded. News anchors analyzed every second of the leaked audio. Talk shows debated motives. Social media had turned into a battlefield. Kandi exposes Tiny and the family betrayal. Everyone was watching. Inside, Tiny's lawyer leaned in, whispering urgently, but she wasn't listening. The recording echoed in her mind like thunder. What hurt more? That Kandi revealed it, or that her husband had said it? Kandi sat again on the witness stand, expression unreadable. The judge, exhausted, returned. "Mrs. Burruss," he said, stern. "Do you understand the gravity of what you've introduced into this court?" Kandi nodded once, calm. "Yes, Your Honor. But I also understand the danger of staying silent." Her voice didn't shake. That quiet strength was why millions admired her, and why those who underestimated her were now terrified. The defense attorney pressed. "Mrs. Burruss, can you confirm the source of this recording?" Kandi paused, long enough for everyone to notice. "It was sent to me anonymously," she said. A ripple passed through the courtroom. Anonymous. One word, and the entire case shifted. "You admit you don't know the source? You can't prove authenticity." Kandi exhaled slowly. "I know that voice," she said quietly. "I know what I heard." The courtroom buzzed. Cameras snapped. Reporters typed furiously. Kandi wasn't backing down. Every challenge only made her stronger. Tiny looked away, blinking fast, refusing to let tears fall. Not here. Not in front of the world. She wanted answers. How did Kandi get that call? Who sent it? And why did it sound like the one thing she feared most? Proof that her husband had been lying again. The judge called a brief recess. Tiny rose, chair scraping loudly. Cameras swung. She walked straight toward Kandi. Security moved in, but Tiny raised a hand. "I'm not here to fight," she said, voice trembling. Kandi didn't flinch. The rain outside didn't stop. Thunder rolled across Atlanta, shaking the windows of every high-rise, every car, every home where someone was glued to their screen, watching the chaos unfold. But inside the Harris home, the storm was nothing compared to what raged in Tiny's mind. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Every notification was another accusation, another rumor, another piece of evidence of betrayal. She sank into the couch, gripping her phone like it was a lifeline. A video clip had just dropped, the parking garage footage. Tiny watched, horrified, as Kandi handed an envelope to someone in the back seat. But this time, it was clear. Clifford's gold watch gleamed in the dim light. It wasn't a stranger. It was him. T. Her heart raced. Every lie she'd caught him in, every secret argument, every half-truth, it all came flooding back. And now, the proof sat on the internet for millions to see. Her world had become public property. Across the city, Kandi sat alone in her studio. The walls were covered in soundproof foam, but the noise from outside seeped in regardless. Phones buzzed endlessly, emails piled up, DMs flooded. The story wasn't slowing, it was accelerating. And yet, Kandi didn't respond. She simply stared at her reflection in the glass wall, tired, thin from sleepless nights, yet strangely unbroken. "They're already burying me," she whispered to herself. No statement could stop the narrative now. She wasn't the target anymore. She was the storm. Meanwhile, T sat in his private office, blinds shut, the city lights flickering behind him. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. On his screen, the courtroom recording played again, slowed, zoomed, dissected. Every word, every pause, every inflection. The original recording wasn't what the world had heard. Someone had edited it. Someone had framed Kandi. He picked up his phone, dialing a number he hadn't used in years. A cold voice answered. "You sure you want to open that door again?" "I already did," T replied. "Now I need to finish it." By midnight, the next piece of the puzzle dropped, a grainy security video showing Kandi stepping into a black SUV with T inside. No sound, no context, just a timestamp. The internet exploded. Reaction channels debated endlessly. Were Kandi and Tiny secretly working together? Was T being set up? Was this all a scheme? Tiny, alone in her living room, watched it over and over. She remembered the night Kandi had called, voice shaking, saying she had to handle something privately. Was that night the key to everything? Kandi, pacing in her studio, had been awake since the leaks started. She hadn't slept. She hadn't eaten. She hadn't left. And yet, even with the chaos surrounding her, she felt calm, focused, calculating. Every move, every leak, every headline, it wasn't random. Someone was orchestrating this. And they weren't done. Back at the courthouse, reporters were analyzing every frame of every clip, every word of every recording. Conspiracy theories spread like wildfire. Some said Kandi was a mastermind. Others claimed Tiny was playing a long game. And some whispered about Teet. Was he the puppet or the puppeteer? Tiny's lawyer pleaded with her to stay offline, to stop scrolling, to ignore the chaos. But she couldn't. Her life had become a public chessboard, and she didn't know the rules. Every notification was a move. Every video was a check. And then a message appeared. An anonymous number. 3 words. Phase 3 begins. Tiny's stomach twisted. Weeks of mysterious messages. Numbers that vanished seconds after sending. Encrypted, untraceable. Someone was still watching. Someone was still controlling the story. Kandi received similar messages. Her phone vibrated incessantly. She opened one. They see only half the story. Finish it. She exhaled. This wasn't about revenge. This was bigger. This was power, control, manipulation. And Kandi was at the center of it. T, meanwhile, had begun to fight back. The untouched audio file, the original courtroom recording, revealed splices, edits, manipulations. Someone had tried to frame Kandi. Someone wanted the world to see her as a traitor, not a survivor. And T knew who. Tiny, completely isolated, stared at her reflection in the dark window. Her phone buzzed again. Another anonymous tip. She added something. Her pulse thundered. Added what? What was Kandi hiding or revealing? She called Kandi, voice trembling. You knew about the video? I didn't post it, Kandi replied. But you knew. I tried to warn you. You didn't listen. Warn me about what? This was never about us. And then, the line went dead. Outside, the storm raged. Rain pelted the streets. Lightning illuminated the skyline. But inside, the real storm was invisible, unstoppable. Headlines multiplied by the second. Tweets, posts, live streams, clips, rumors. Every second someone watched, judged, theorized. And in a dimly lit control room, far from the chaos, a figure leaned back in a chair. Dozens of screens showed Tiny, Kandi, T, every meltdown, every accusation, every move. They're doing exactly what we wanted, the figure murmured. The truth doesn't matter. Control matters. And now let's see who breaks first. Back in Atlanta, Tiny, Kandi, and T were trapped in a web of secrets, manipulation, and public spectacle. Trust was gone. Lies were everywhere. Every relationship, every alliance, every word spoken in confidence undone. And the storm was only beginning, because in a world like this, truth bends. Power dictates perception. A clip can destroy a life. A headline can end a career. Loyalty means nothing when someone else is writing the story. Kandi was strong. Tiny was stunned. T was calculating. But none of them realized the game was bigger than any one of them. Someone else was pulling the strings. Someone else had set the stage. And when the next leak dropped, it wouldn't just be another scandal, it would be a game changer. So now, the questions remain. Who is controlling the narrative? Who is orchestrating every leak, every rumor, every betrayal? Kandi says she was protecting herself. Tiny says she was blindsided. T stays silent. And silence can be its own confession. The truth isn't what you think. The story isn't over. Another recording could drop tonight. Another betrayal, another twist, another revelation no one saw coming. And the world will be watching. Because in a culture where scandals become content, power, control, and manipulation are the only things that truly matter.